What's up, Castlers? LFO7 here with more Let's Castle action. And today I'm going to highlight two of the strongest players in the Let's Castle Chess Club. That's 8-time LC title holder and 2-time LC Club champ Ydtd with the white pieces. I also don't want to leave out that he has 6 rapid titles and he is the current rapid champion of Let's Castle. In this game, he'll be facing 4-time LC title holder and 1-time LC Club champion Checkmate in 4-2-7 with the black pieces. And I'd be remiss in my duties if I did not add that he also possesses 2 rapid titles, 7 blitz titles, and is currently the blitz champion of Let's Castle. But let's get to the game. This game took place in the finals of the 2024 Happy New Year tournament. It began on February 9th and ended on April 23rd of this year. Ydtd starts off with pawn to d4. You then get pawn to g6. This is known as the modern opening. Checkmate in 4-2-7 will eventually fianchetto his dark squared bishop, which will give him a long scope on that a1 to h8 diagonal. You then get bishop to e3, knight to f6, bishop to d3, castle king side, pawn to c3, knight b to d7. And then you get a castle king side by Ydtd. And as you can see, both players have successfully castled. And the eval bar to the left has the game even. In fact, the game was pretty even for the next 30 moves. So much in fact that there was a leak in the Checkmate in 4-2-7 camp that he was going to plead for a draw. I mean plead, because Checkmate in 4-2-7 has disdain for boring games. He likes games with risk and chances for attacks, and tactics abound. But then after a dancing of the opposite rooks, Checkmate in 4-2-7 played pawn to h5 with the idea of maybe marching his g and h pawns down to open up the g file for an attack on the king. Ydtd was thinking the same thing, and he played rook b4, but the engine would have preferred he went a tempo by attacking the rook with his bishop, like so. But Checkmate, he continued with queen to f6, putting 2 attackers on the c3 pawn. Ydtd blocks the attack with knight to d4. Checkmate wants to pry open that g file with the play of pawn to f3. Ydtd ignores and plays rook to a4. Takes. Checkmate has his pawn on the second rank. Ydtd takes that pawn with his king. The engine thought that was a bit premature. Queen e3 was the right move according to the engine, because now Checkmate can't stop Ydtd from getting that pawn back with queen to a4. King g, you take the pawn on g2, and then your bishop threatens the queen, and then what happens is the queen can avoid the threat, and you get queen to g5, check, queen g3, and you're good. However, getting back to the action, after Ydtd took the pawn with his king, Checkmate checked him with his queen. Ydtd protected with his, and then you get queen to d2, queen e3, queen b2, queen d3, queen c1, knight e2, queen g5 check, queen g3 for the block, queen d2, queen e3, queen a2. Checkmate threatens the bishop. Ydtd can't defend his bishop, so he has to move it to d1. And that allows for bishop takes b5, and Checkmate goes up by a pawn. Okay, so Checkmate has 6 pawns, Ydtd has 5 pawns, Checkmate has 2 pawn islands, and both are beautiful pawn chains, while on the other hand, Ydtd has an isolated h-pawn. The advantage would definitely go to Checkmate in this endgame, and the engine agrees, but like the great Emmanuel Lasker once said, the hardest game to win, that's right, is a one game. So let's see what happens here. You get knight to d4, bishop c4, bishop e2. Ydtd offers the trade of bishop so he could get counterplay with his knight or queen, but Checkmate says thanks, but no thanks. He takes the knight instead with his sniper. Ydtd takes the bishop. Checkmate takes back. Ydtd snatches the other bishop. We get an exchange of queens, and that leaves double pawns on the d file. An isolated h pawn, and Checkmate has a passed b pawn, which he intends to run down the board, which he just did. You get king to f1, pawn to g5. Checkmate wants to create another pass pawn. Ydtd sees that and plays pawn to f3. King g7. Checkmate brings the king in. King e2. King g6. king to d3, pawn to f5, king to e3, king to f6, a waiting move by checkmate rather than force the action. Good job by him. Ydtd takes another pawn. Well, Ydtd takes the pawn to make a pass pawn of his own, but it gets snatched. King d3 to defend his pawn, but checkmate plays king to f4, king to c3. And once checkmate plays king to e3, Ydtd capitulated as he saw it was a hopeless endgame and there was no way he would promote his pawns. So a great game as always between these two. Checkmate went on to win the Happy New Year tournament as he defeated Ydtd with the black pieces as well. Chalk that up to another title for checkmate. Like I said previously, these two are the two strongest daily or classical players in the club, so there's always a good game to showcase. Be sure to keep it right here on the Let's Castle channel for more Let's Castle action. And that's going to do it for today's video. I'm Ydtd 07 saying stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.